I'm Akilapriyadharshini from Department of Civil Engineering, VSB Engineering College, Karur, and today we are going to see about the first unit of Human Values and Ethics, where it understands the democratic value, which means the liberty, equality, fraternity, pluralism, tolerance, and we should respect for all, and the freedom expressions with according to the American independence and Indian freedom movement. And as the Abraham Lincoln said, the democracy is for the government of the people and by the people and for the people. And the democratic values or the principles that is governed by the democratic system of the government. It ensures the rights and freedom of the well-being. And then the democratic values includes the equality, liberty and fraternity, freedom, justice, pluralism, tolerance and respect for all, and freedom of expression and citizen participation in governance. Where equality is described in an equal manner and everyone should be treated in an equal way, and that should be implemented and implementing in all over the world. Where equality, it includes the democratic societies and also the opportunities to the personal characteristics as well as the background. And this image clearly shows how the equality should be treated. And then once the equality is treated, the equality is defined into every eligible citizen to process their electoral process. That means the right to vote. And this right to vote is the pillar of democracy, where everyone has the right to vote for their own constitution and they have to select their own member of their constituency. And then the equality, and here the equality is also continued with the economic quality, where such as the jobs, education and health was, and the fair, how much the income and the workers receive for their work. And then the social equality is access to service and non-discrimination is done, which means of gender, race and other factors. And then, while coming to the next one is liberty, it is a fundamental act of democratic societies where it intends the restraints and interference. And then the individual liberty is freedom of speech. We should have this freedom to speech, and then the freedom of religion, and then the freedom of assembly, where the political or social or whatever it may be. And then civic liberties are privacies and due process, where it should be the free privacy is right to be free with the unwarranted intrusion, and due process is the fair treatment of the judicial system. And economic liberty is freedom of enterprise or freedom of choice. Political liberty, where we have the right to vote and we have the right to run an office based on the public office or whatever it may be. We should have some concerns to liberty to run an office or right to vote. And then fraternity, it is the democratic values, both the ethics and brotherhoods and mutual support is attained there, where the solidarity is means it means the importance of supporting by another one in times of needs, which means we are helping or giving some mutual aids to the community. And then freedom, it is a fundamental principle in democratic societies, and we should act, think and express due to without any unstrained situations. And the economic freedom or enterprise and property, and political freedom is advocate or unrestricted to participate in the political process. And then personal freedom is they have to live their own right and their own lives and without any interruption of the another one. Everyone is under the justice and everyone is should be belongs to the justice, and within the treatment of individual within the society is also be equitable. And the justice is continued with the procedural justice, and it has the process and procedures to discuss and resolve the disputes. And then while coming to the distributive justice, it concerns a fair allocation of resources and burdens among individuals in a society. And then pluralism, it means a group cultures that maintain within a society. And the cultural pluralism describes about diversity, integration and mutual respect, where diversity includes the multiple cultural traditions and integration includes the different cultural groups with respect to the unique identities and practices, and mutual promotes understanding and responding and respect among the different cultural backgrounds. And political is diverse, um, democratic participation and compromise and cooperation, where it includes the dialogue and it includes the political pluralism in all the ways. and religious. It has the freedom of belief, interfaith dialogue, and secularism. And social pluralism is equality and addressing discrimination, where it eliminates systematic discrimination to marginalize certain groups. And tolerance, it means acceptance and respect for differences among individuals, and everyone should have a tolerance capacity, and that capacity is if it is beyond that, and everyone won't be the same way, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be, it includes the beliefs, practice, and culturals, and we should respect for all. That is the main motive, and everyone is empathizing on based on the background, identity, or belief. And freedom of expression, we all have the right that allows to express their thoughts, ideas, and beliefs, and it comprises the communication, speech, writing, and art. And citizen participants in governance, it includes the engaging of decision making, policy development, and democratic governments that contribute to a accountable inclusive government. And the world democracies are described as UK, US, and Germany, where the Switzerland direct democracy and Vatican City, and these are all the classifications of world democracies. And the French evaluation is within 1789 to 1779. The key factor of this period is to radically, socially, and fundamental changes of the French history. And then the causes is economic hardship, social inequality, and political conflict. And the major phases of French Revolution is moderate phase. It includes the symbol of Royal Trinity, where the third estate and took the new constitution. And then it includes the radial phase, and then the thermodynamic on the rise of Napoleon. And the outcomes are, it leads to the spread of republican ideas and legal equality, challenging traditional social hierarchies. And American independence was owned by an American, and it is gaining an independence from Great Britain. And it took place a period of 1775 to 1783, was driven by the combination of political, economical, and social factors. And the causes of American independence are taxation, British policies, and desire for self-government. And the key events are electrical tensions and battles, declaration and independence, Valley Forge, and Yorkstones. And the treaty and aftermath are the Treaty of Paris and the formation of new government and impact on legacy. The Indian Freedom Movement. The Indian Freedom Movement is a complex and multi-phased struggle aiming at ending of the British colonial rule and achieving the independence of India. And the British played a main role for the freedom of India. It involves several decades, and it involves the various ideologies and key factors. The Indian freedom early rules or by the 19th century, it was done by the leaders like Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Brahmo Samaj, where it worked towards the social reform and modernization, and that gives the groundwork for nationalized ideas. And when coming to the Indian National Congress, it was founded in the year 1885. It aims to reform the British system, and leaders like Allen Octavian Hume and others played a significant role in its early years. And coming to the next one, we can have the first phase of nationality activity at 1900 to 1920, where the partition of Bengal was done at 1905, and it was attempted to divide and rule by the creating religious divisions, and it was reunited by reunification of Bengal is done in 1911. And then the revolutionary activities are done in the early 20th centuries, and it was emerged advocating and arranged everything against the British rule, and noticeable figures like Bhagat Singh and Subhash Chandra Bose played a main role in this. And then the Gandhian era, where the Gandhi is emerged in 1915 to 1947, where the Non-Cooperation Act movement is 1920 to 1922, where the Gandhi returned from South Africa in 1915 and lead a campaign of non-violent resistance, and it was against the British goods, institutions, and honor. And then civil disobedience movement was done at 1930 to 1934, and Salt March and Dundee March and widespread fortification of civil disobedience are done for the Indian freedom movement. And then the Quiet India movement. The Quiet India movement was done at the World War contest, and it was completely against the British rule, and the British response was severe and with massive arrest and repression. And Gandhi's calls for direct action is done for the freedom of India. And the political developments and independence. The post-war period is between 1945 to 1947. First, the Mountbatten Plan was proposed for the Indian independence and leading to the Indian Independence Act, and then the partition of India was done at 1947. It was gained between the British rule to separate India Pakistan based on the religious lines, and then there have communal violence between the millions of